Brazil. The name conjures images: samba, football, sun-drenched beaches, and for some, a certain forbidden allure. There's a persistent idea that Brazil is the most sinful country in the Americas, a label loaded with judgment and misunderstanding. But what does it mean to brand over 200 million people with such a term? The label sticks because it's sensational, hinting at a place where life is lived with passion and the rules are different. Carnival in Rio, with its joyous, barely clothed dancers, feeds this myth for outsiders. But is a celebration of life inherently sinful, or is the sin in the eye of the beholder? The word sin comes from religion, but when applied to a culture, it becomes a shorthand for behaviors that challenge our own norms. In Brazil, the lines between sacred and secular are beautifully blurred. This essay looks past the easy label to explore the intricate, contradictory, and deeply human reality of Brazil. We'll dive into festivals and quiet family moments, hear stories, and see how religion, history, and modernity mix in this cultural pot. Is Brazil sinful, or does it simply have a more forgiving understanding of what it means to be human? I want to investigate the gap between reputation and reality. Let's look beyond the myth of a sinful nation to the lived experiences of its people. I give the concept of a sinful country 1 star. What do we mean by sinful? In religion, it's about breaking divine law. Culturally, it's more subjective, a label for what makes us uncomfortable. In places with puritanical roots, public sensuality or pleasure-seeking is often coded as sinful. Brazil's comfort with the body and expressive joy often clashes with these unwritten rules. The beach culture in Rio, where all shapes and ages gather in revealing swimwear, isn't about seduction, it's about practicality and equality. To call this sinful is to impose an external moral framework on a different set of norms. Even the famous, the clever workaround, can be seen as either resourcefulness or rule-bending, depending on your perspective. When we call Brazil sinful, we're really describing a culture that's less rigid, more expressive, and more comfortable with ambiguity. The label is born from the friction between different definitions of a good life. Carnival is Brazil's most famous export, a 5-day explosion of music, dance, and collective euphoria. But it's more than a party, it's a culmination of a year's work for samba schools, and a space for social commentary. Carnival is a ritualized release, as much about community as revelry. Yet daily life in Brazil is not one long festival. Joy is woven into everyday moments, a weekend with family, lingering over food and conversation, or a casual game of football. Social time is prioritized over efficiency, and connection is valued above productivity. In cities, overflow with people decompressing after work, not rowdy, but communal. Even food embraces joyful excess. On Saturdays, sweet brigadeiros at every birthday. This isn't a culture of restraint, but one that sees food as memory, celebration, and love. The so-called sinful joy is really a celebration of togetherness. Life's pleasures are not hidden, they're shared. In Brazil, joy is a fundamental human need. That's not sin. That's living. Placing Brazil in the context of the Americas highlights its unique cultural position. The U.S. is shaped by a Protestant work ethic and public reserve. Pleasure is often tinged with guilt. Brazil, by contrast, operates on a different frequency, more open, more expressive. Its Portuguese heritage, African and indigenous influences, and sheer diversity set it apart from its Spanish-speaking neighbors. Samba's blend of joy and melancholy, openness about the body, and comfort with taboo topics make Brazil distinct. Social rules exist, but the lines are drawn differently, emphasizing harmony over guilt. Brazil's sinfulness is really a measure of its difference. It's not better or worse than its neighbors, just profoundly its own. The Americas are a tapestry. Brazil is a vibrant, unique thread. Brazil is a land of spiritual contradictions, home to the world's largest Catholic population and the iconic Christ the Redeemer statue. Yet, it's also famous for carnival and a relaxed attitude toward pleasure. How do these coexist? Through a uniquely Brazilian blend of sacred and profane. Syncretic religions like Candomblé and Umbanda merge African deities with Catholic saints, creating a spirituality rooted in both earth and tradition. Faith is not confined to church, it's lived daily, expressed in music, dance, and food. In Afro-Brazilian faiths, the body is a sacred vessel, not something to be disciplined. Dance becomes prayer, celebration a religious offering. This challenges the Western idea that spirit and body are in opposition. In Brazil, they're partners in the same dance. The sinfulness of Brazilian culture isn't a rejection of religion, but a different expression of it. Here, faith makes room for the whole human being. To understand Brazil, listen to its people. Sofia, a lawyer in São Paulo, works long hours but finds joy and identity at her local samba school. João, a fisherman in Bahia, blends Catholicism and candomblé, honoring Yamanja with offerings at sea, a profound act of faith, not superstition. The Silva family in a Rio favela faces daily struggles, but their home is filled with laughter, music, and open doors for neighbors. They might use an illegal cable connection to watch football. Is that sin or survival in a system that excludes them? These stories reveal resourcefulness, joy, and complexity, not sinfulness. Sofia's samba, João's faith, the Silva's resilience, these are acts of living fully. The real Brazil is found in millions of small, everyday choices for meaning and connection. The grand narrative of a sinful nation falls apart in the face of real lives. What emerges is a portrait of creativity, community, and joy. The truth is in the details, not the headlines. Brazil's character is found in its people. Stereotypes are easy, but almost always wrong. The myth of Brazil as a land of perpetual holiday ignores the reality of hard work and ambition. Millions work long hours in sprawling cities. The sin of laziness is pure fiction. Brazilian women are often reduced to one-dimensional, exotic stereotypes, ignoring their diversity, strength, and leadership. The happy-go-lucky Brazilian stereotype masks real struggles with inequality and violence. Smiles can be resilience, not the whole story. The myth of lawlessness exaggerates reality. Most Brazilians are law-abiding and communities are strong. Focusing only on crime distorts the picture, ignoring warmth and hospitality. The real sin is in these exaggerations and erasures. Rio de Janeiro is the epicenter of Brazil's sinful reputation, carnival, beaches, and a body-positive lifestyle. But Rio is a city of contrasts, luxury apartments shadowed by favelas, beauty alongside inequality. The real sin here is not indulgence, but the societal sin of inequality. Cariocas navigate these contradictions daily, surfing in the morning, volunteering in the afternoon, dancing at night, attending mass on Sunday. The spirit of Rio is about finding joy amid challenges, not ignoring them. Beauty and danger, joy and sorrow coexist. Rio is not a simple paradise or a hotbed of problems, it's both. The Christ the Redeemer statue looks over beaches and favelas alike, witnessing the whole story. To understand Rio is to embrace its complexity. It's a living, breathing organism full of contradiction and life. So, is Brazil the most sinful country in the Americas? The answer is more complex than yes or no. If sin means breaking puritanical codes, Brazil pleads guilty. But if sin is a failure of kindness or joy, Brazil is among the most virtuous. The label says more about those who use it than about Brazil itself. Brazil's supposed sin is its humanity, messy, beautiful, and contradictory. It's a culture that celebrates connection, play, and joy. What makes Brazil unique is its resilience, creativity, and insistence on joy as survival. The real story is far more interesting than any label. A country is not a single story, but millions. The truth is, in the samba, the faith, the family meal, and the city street. I give Brazil, in all its beautiful, sinful contradiction, 4.5 stars.